let's talk strictly about the topic. Only discuss what it means, no unnecessary points. The key discussion should stay focused on the subject, and in such a way that it leaves me eager for the next page. When we talk about building, or maintaining, muscle after 60, the conversation often circles back to protein, and with good reason. As we age, our bodies naturally begin to lose muscle mass, a condition called sarcopenia. This isn't about vanity or fitness trends. It's about staying mobile, reducing falls, and preserving independence. So, the kind of protein you eat, and whether it provides the right tools for your muscles to rebuild, matters more now than ever. This brings us to the concept of a complete protein, and to the surprising power of one small, unassuming food, the soybean. In simple terms, a complete protein contains all 9 essential amino acids, the ones our bodies can't make on their own. We must get them from our diet. Most plant-based foods fall short here. They offer some amino acids, but not all. That's why eggs, meat, and dairy are often seen as the gold standard. They're complete. But soybeans stand apart from the rest of the plant world. They're one of the very few plant foods that deliver all 9 essential amino acids in sufficient amounts, making them a complete protein source just like eggs. Now, let's pause here. Why does being a complete protein matter for someone over 60? Because your muscles aren't just looking for any protein, they're looking for the right kind. Imagine your muscle tissue as a house under repair. The amino acids are the bricks and materials your body needs to rebuild it. If you're missing a few of those materials, construction slows down. Over time, the house weakens. But when you supply all the necessary components, consistently and in balance, the repair process works better. That's what soy protein offers. The full toolkit your muscles need to rebuild, especially after everyday movement, strength exercises, or even a walk around the block. What makes soy particularly interesting is not just its completeness, but its efficiency. Research has shown that soy protein can support muscle synthesis, the rebuilding process, in much the same way as animal proteins do. That means you don't have to rely on eggs or meat to get high-quality support for your muscles. This is especially meaningful if you're looking to cut back on cholesterol, avoid heavy meals, or follow a more plant-forward diet for health reasons. You're not sacrificing the quality of your protein, you're just getting it from a different source. There's also the practical side to consider. Many seniors find that digestion changes over time. Foods they used to enjoy can become harder to tolerate. Soy comes in many forms, from soft tofu to fermented tempeh to roasted soy nuts, making it easier to find options that agree with your body. Plus, it's incredibly versatile. You can blend it into smoothies, add it to bake it into casseroles, or even enjoy it as a simple snack. That flexibility makes it easier to get enough high-quality protein throughout the day, which is important because the body becomes less efficient at processing protein with age. You need a bit more, and you need it to be effective. There's no hype here, no superfood fad. This is about something small and familiar that happens to meet your needs in a very precise, science-backed way. A protein source that doesn't just match the quality of eggs, but may even offer advantages when you look at the whole picture of aging, digestion, heart health, and daily nutrition. If you've ever felt unsure about how to get the right kind of protein, or thought plant-based eating couldn't support muscle strength, soy quietly challenges that idea. Not with noise, but with quiet consistency. And that consistency is key, because strength after 60 isn't about doing everything at once. It's about small, smart choices that add up. Choosing a protein that delivers all the essentials. One that's gentle on your system and proven to work. That's one of those choices. And once you begin to understand that, it naturally leads to the next question. How can you start using soy in ways that actually feel good, taste good, and fit into your routine? That's exactly what we'll get into next. You said, let's talk strictly about the topic. Only discuss what it means, no unnecessary points. The key discussion should stay focused on the subject, and in such a way that it leaves me eager for the next page. As we age, heart health becomes less of a background concern and more of a daily priority. It's not just about avoiding heart attacks or strokes, it's about preserving energy, mobility, and quality of life. The heart is the engine behind every step, breath, and activity. So, when we talk about protein sources to support strength and muscle maintenance, we can't ignore what those same foods are doing to your cardiovascular system. That's why the kind of protein you choose, not just how much, plays a critical role in overall well-being. And it's here that soybeans offer a quiet but powerful advantage. They support muscle and heart health without compromise. Unlike eggs and many animal-based proteins, soybeans contain zero dietary cholesterol. That's not just a trivia fact, it's an important distinction. For decades, cholesterol from food was believed to have a direct and harmful impact on blood cholesterol levels. While research has refined that view over the years, we now understand that for many people, reducing saturated fat and dietary cholesterol can still help manage or lower LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol that contributes to artery plaque and narrowing over time. Soy doesn't just avoid adding cholesterol to your diet, it may actively help lower LDL levels when included regularly. That's because soy contains compounds known as isoflavonoids, which appear to support healthier blood vessels and reduce inflammation. Additionally, the fiber found in whole soy foods like edamame or soy nuts can aid in cholesterol regulation. For older adults managing borderline or high cholesterol, every food choice becomes a building block in that larger strategy. Soy steps in as a protein that works in harmony with those goals, giving your body what it needs to build muscle without placing extra strain on the heart. Now, let's compare that with a typical egg. A single large egg contains around 180 milligrams of cholesterol, mostly found in the yolk. For someone watching their numbers or following medical advice to reduce cholesterol intake, that can add up quickly, especially if eggs are a daily breakfast habit. And while eggs do offer high-quality protein, they come with a trade-off for those concerned about heart disease risk. That doesn't mean eggs are inherently bad, but they're not ideal for everyone, especially when better-aligned options exist. Soy changes that equation. It gives you the protein your muscles need, without the cholesterol concern. You're not choosing between strength and heart health. You're supporting both with one ingredient. That dual benefit is especially important for older adults, who often juggle multiple health goals at once. Maybe your doctor has mentioned cholesterol levels creeping upward. Maybe you've been prescribed medication and want to complement it with smarter food choices. Or maybe you simply want to age with strength and ease, moving through your day without feeling weighed down, breathless, or fatigued. Choosing a protein that supports your heart rather than challenges, it makes that goal more attainable. It's also important to note that this isn't about extremes. You don't have to cut out every other protein source to benefit. Even small shifts like swapping eggs for tofu a few mornings a week can contribute to better cholesterol control over time. These changes are cumulative. They don't ask you to overhaul your diet overnight. Instead, they meet you where you are and offer realistic steps that align with your health values. Some people worry that plant-based proteins are somehow less than or not as effective for muscle support. But science consistently shows that soy can hold its own, offering the same muscle-building potential while protecting the heart. In the process, for older adults who already face an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, that's not just a bonus, it's a strategic advantage. When you begin to look at food not just as fuel, but as a form of support for multiple systems in the body, soy starts to stand out. It's not flashy or trendy, but it's steady, and sometimes, that's exactly what aging bodies need. A steady, supportive food that gives more than it takes. So the next question becomes, if soy can truly support both your strength and your heart, how do you actually bring it into your kitchen in a way that feels enjoyable, not like a sacrifice? That's what we'll explore next. You said, let's talk strictly about the topic. Only discuss what it means, no unnecessary points. The key discussion should stay focused on the subject, and in such a way that it leaves me eager for the next page. One of the most overlooked challenges that comes with aging is digestion. It's not something people tend to talk about openly, but it affects daily comfort, energy, and how your body absorbs nutrients, especially protein. What you could eat at 40 without a second thought might now leave you bloated, sluggish, or with unexpected discomfort. And for many older adults, eggs fall into that category. Despite their popularity and nutritional value, eggs can be difficult for some people to digest as they get older. That's where soy steps in as an effective, gentle alternative, especially when your goal is to get enough protein without putting stress on your digestive system. Egg intolerance isn't rare. As people age, their levels of digestive enzymes can shift. The stomach produces less acid. The gallbladder may not work quite as efficiently. Certain foods, particularly those high in fat or protein, take longer to break down, and this can lead to symptoms like nausea, gas, heartburn, or simply feeling overly full after eating. Eggs, particularly the yolks, are rich in fat and cholesterol. For someone with slowed digestion or sensitivity to high-fat meals, they can trigger discomfort even in moderate amounts. In contrast, soy products, especially forms like tofu, tempeh, or even soft soy milk, are often much easier for the body to process. They tend to be lower in fat, particularly saturated fat, and higher in water content. This makes them gentler on the stomach and quicker to pass through the digestive tract. Unlike many dense animal-based proteins, soy doesn't sit heavy. That's a subtle difference, but it makes a world of impact when you're trying to feel energized and light after meals instead of weighed down. This doesn't mean soy is only about avoiding discomfort. It also allows your body to use the protein you consume more effectively. If you're eating protein that your body struggles to break down, your muscles won't get the full benefit, and your digestive system ends up doing more work for less gain. With soy, you're not just taking in a complete protein source. You're doing so in a way that's more bioavailable for many older adults. In other words, the body can access and utilize the amino acids in soy more efficiently, especially when it's not battling through digestive stress to get there. Another overlooked aspect is how food feels after you eat it. For older adults living with digestive conditions like acid reflux, irritable bowel symptoms, or gallbladder sensitivities, this matters a lot. Even if eggs aren't a problem today, they can become one tomorrow. Having an easy protein source on hand, one that doesn't cause worry becomes part of a sustainable daily rhythm. That's where soy earns its place, not just as a substitute, but as a preferred choice. It doesn't ask your system to work harder than necessary. Then there's texture. Older adults dealing with changes in chewing ability, dental health, or swallowing may find that certain protein sources, especially firm or dense meats, are no longer comfortable to eat. Scrambled eggs can be soft, yes, but tofu, especially silken or soft tofu, can be even easier to chew and swallow, while still offering the protein and amino acid profile that supports muscle strength. This matters. Eating should feel enjoyable, not like a struggle, and digesting it afterward shouldn't leave you tired or regretful. All of this makes soy not just a replacement for eggs, but a rethinking of how we approach protein after It's not just about swapping one food for another. It's about listening to your body and choosing what feels nourishing in the moment and over time. When your digestion works with you, not against you, that's when real health progress happens. You can eat with confidence again. You can enjoy meals without worry, and you can trust that the protein you're eating is being put to good use, without any unnecessary strain. So if soy offers complete protein without the discomfort, if it supports digestion instead of taxing it, what does that actually look like in day-to-day meals, and how do you make it satisfying, simple, and sustainable? That's exactly what we'll explore next. Let's talk strictly about the topic. Only discuss what it means, no unnecessary points. The key discussion should stay focused on the subject, and in such a way that it leaves me eager for the next page. As the body ages, one of the most critical, yet quietly progressing changes is the gradual loss of bone density. You might not notice it until it leads to something serious. A fracture from a small fall, joint pain that won't go away, or the quiet shrinking of posture over time. This is why bone health becomes a foundational part of aging well. It's not just about avoiding breaks, it's about preserving balance, mobility, and confidence. And this is where soybeans quietly offer support that often goes overlooked. Beyond being a muscle-friendly protein, soy also provides key minerals that directly contribute to bone strength, namely, calcium and magnesium. Let's begin with calcium. It's one of the most well-known nutrients associated with bone health, and for good reason. Calcium makes up a significant portion of the bone matrix, the solid structure that gives your skeleton its shape and strength. After age 50, the body's ability to absorb calcium can decrease. At the same time, bone breakdown tends to accelerate, especially in women after menopause. If calcium intake doesn't match up with this increased need, bones slowly weaken. This sets the stage for osteoporosis, a condition that affects millions and increases the risk of fractures that can severely limit independence. Soybeans, especially in their whole or minimally processed forms like edamame or calcium-set tofu, contain meaningful amounts of calcium, sometimes as much as dairy products, depending on preparation. What makes this even more important is that many older adults struggle to consume enough calcium from traditional sources like milk or cheese, either due to lactose intolerance or digestive sensitivity. Soy provides a dairy-free way to get this vital mineral, without upsetting the stomach or introducing excessive fat or sugar. But calcium doesn't work alone. Magnesium is its quiet partner, often underappreciated, yet just as essential. Magnesium helps regulate calcium transport and plays a role in the formation of new bone. Without adequate magnesium, the body can't use calcium efficiently, no matter how much you consume. Magnesium also contributes to muscle function, which ties directly into fall prevention. Stronger muscles mean better balance, more controlled movement, and less risk of the kind of falls that cause bone injuries. Soybeans naturally contain magnesium, making them a double benefit food. They supply both minerals in a form that is easy to incorporate into meals and well absorbed by the body. This is particularly important for older adults who may be taking multiple medications, many of which can interfere with mineral absorption, or who face challenges maintaining a varied nutrient-dense diet. When a single food offers protein, calcium, and magnesium in one serving, it simplifies nutrition in a way that's practical and effective. It's worth pointing out that soy doesn't just contain bone-friendly minerals, it may also help preserve them within your bones. Some studies have suggested that isoflavones in soy plant compounds with mild estrogen-like properties may help reduce bone loss, especially in postmenopausal women. While the research is ongoing, this potential adds yet another layer to soy's value in supporting skeletal health. Even if its effects are modest, they align with the overall goal: slowing bone thinning, maintaining structure, and reducing the risk of breaks and fractures. There's no single food that will fix bone health overnight, but what matters is consistency and balance over time. Including soy as a regular part of your meals can support those goals without requiring major dietary shifts. Whether it's tofu in a stir-fry, edamame as a snack, or soy milk poured over morning oats, you're giving your body minerals it recognizes, can absorb, and can use to stay strong and upright, not just today, but as the years go on. This is not just about preventing a fall. It's about walking with confidence, standing tall without pain, reaching up to a shelf without worry. These are quiet freedoms, but they matter. And they are protected not by big changes, but by small, smart habits practiced daily. So if soy can help rebuild muscle, protect your heart, support digestion, and strengthen your bones, how do you start choosing the right types and preparing them in a way that's simple, enjoyable, and satisfying? That's where we're headed next. You said, let's talk strictly about the topic. Only discuss what it means, no unnecessary points. The key discussion should stay focused on the subject, and in such a way that it leaves me eager for the next page. One of the biggest challenges in improving health after 60 isn't knowing what to do, it's knowing how to do it in a way that actually sticks. Most people don't need more rules or complicated diets. What they need are simple changes they can repeat with ease. That's where the idea of small, consistent swaps comes in, and when it comes to protein, soy offers one of the most practical opportunities to do exactly that. Swapping eggs for soy-based foods, even just a few times a week, is not a radical diet overhaul. It's a modest shift that supports muscle, heart, digestion, and bone health all in one move. And, more importantly, it's a shift that's both realistic and sustainable. Let's begin with something as simple as breakfast. For many older adults, eggs are a go-to morning meal. They're familiar, easy to prepare, and comforting, but they can also be high in cholesterol and sometimes difficult to digest. Replacing eggs with tofu, especially soft or silken tofu, in a scramble is a change that retains the same warmth, texture, and satisfaction without the potential drawbacks. A tofu scramble can be flavored with the same herbs and spices, a pinch of turmeric, a dash of pepper, maybe some sautéed vegetables or spinach. The experience stays the same, but the nutritional profile shifts in your favor. That's the power of a small swap. The same applies to snacks. Instead of reaching for cheese or processed meat slices, you can try roasted edamame. These lightly salted soybeans are high in protein, portable, and have a satisfying crunch. And unlike many packaged snacks, they won't spike your cholesterol or leave you sluggish. For those who enjoy soups, a simple miso broth with soft tofu pieces adds richness and protein with minimal preparation. No extreme cooking skills required. Just warm, easy, nourishing food that supports your health goals without drawing attention to itself. These are the kinds of swaps that fit into real life. No calorie counting, no rigid schedules, just recognizing that your body needs certain kinds of support now, and choosing foods that give it to you in ways you'll actually enjoy. That's what makes a habit sustainable. The more a food fits naturally into your lifestyle, the more likely you are to repeat the behavior, and over time, those repeated behaviors become the quiet habits that drive long-term health. It's also important to understand that you don't have to give anything up completely. This isn't about quitting eggs forever or labeling foods as good or bad. That kind of thinking often leads to frustration and burnout. Instead, think of it like balance. If you've had eggs a few days in a row, maybe choose tofu or tempeh for your next meal. If you're making a stir-fry, try tossing in some soybeans or slices of marinated tofu instead of another meat-based protein. You're not removing pleasure, you're simply adding more value to what you already enjoy. This approach is especially powerful because it supports other parts of life too. Soy-based meals tend to be quicker to prepare and often more affordable. That means less time in the kitchen, fewer trips to the store, and more freedom to spend your energy elsewhere, whether that's walking with friends, playing with grandkids, or just enjoying a good book. The food you eat should support your life, not complicate it. And when a simple ingredient like soy offers so many health benefits in such an easy-to-use form, it becomes more than a substitute. It becomes a tool for living well. Think of it this way. Every time you choose a soy-based option instead of something heavier, harder to digest, or high in cholesterol, you're casting a quiet vote for your future strength. Not flashy, not dramatic, just steady. And over time, that steadiness becomes the difference between slowing down and staying strong. The key isn't doing everything right all at once. It's finding those small, manageable points of change, and sticking with them until they become second nature. So the real question becomes, what are the best soy options to keep in your kitchen, and how do you use them to create meals that feel both nourishing